Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and not too long ago, about actually last Thursday, we had a debate go on between the opponents, these two main candidates of the year. You have Joe Biden, the current president, versus a former president of ours, Donald Trump. Trump's only served one term, so he's allowed to run again. And it was a complete and utter blowout. It was a very bad day if you're a Biden supporter, and a very bad day if you're a Democrat, and a great day if you're a Trump, and probably a Republican supporter if you're a Trump supporter. So there's not a lot to work with if you're Joe Biden. And by the way, I did do a full recap of the debate. If you're watching this video, you actually probably watched that video too. So I felt like that video did pretty good. Let's discuss some more. And we got the glasses. You know what this means. When we talk politics, we got to put the glasses on because it gets intense at times. And I was thinking about, is there a way to convince people that Joe Biden's still a reasonably good candidate at all after that terrible performance that he had in front of the world, especially just in front of America? A very pathetic performance, pretty good performance from Trump. What can you do during this time that will get people to think, okay, you know what, Biden, maybe I'll give him a second chance. And you have until September 10th. September 10th is the day of the next debate. Now, there's no determined location, but it's going to be on ABC. You're going to have David Muir and Lindsey Davis. Is going to be the ones running everything. So they'll be the moderators. That's the professional term for it. They'll be the ones running it. So you have to be working on an ABC broadcast that's completely public. It's not CNN. There's some like a cable that you don't get that on it. So you hear it from the news, you hear it from the NBCs of the world. Actually, it was broadcast on every channel pretty much, so there's no excuse. You have to perform well this day. And Biden had a rally or whatever not too long afterwards, and he honestly didn't do half bad. If this was in front of the world, if this was the performance he had at the debate, Democrats and especially Biden supporters could have made, you know what, there's some good to work with here. But he didn't do that. He did it at the following rally that he had, and he didn't do bad at all. But the headlines were not that Biden actually performed not that bad. It was that Joe Biden's wife, had this specific quote to say to him in front of everyone at the rally, in front of everyone, with the mic, in front of Joe. She said to him, from Jill, "Joe, you did such a great job and answered every question." Like, that's a preschooler thing to say. That's a teacher that's talking to preschoolers. A first grader would say that. You answered every question, Joe. He's not an elementary school kid. This guy has no learning disabilities. He is an 81-year-old man who is a president of the United States. It's the highest position you can have in the country. And you're talking to him like he's a child. That ruins a lot of credibility that he could have had. If that he somewhat gained. He lost a lot of credibility from the start, but if he had any, that lost a lot. It's like, okay, well, he can barely answer questions. Even his wife can barely believe he did this. But I have a plan from a guy that's played sports a lot throughout his life. Still with a lot of coaches. I've seen a lot of game plans get put out who studied sports. No matter the competition that you have, no matter how down in the hole that you are, you can always come back. You can always come back. And there's an opportunity that you have, and this is my game plan. If any Democrat officials are watching, this is how I would game plan this. It's coming from a 17-year-old. It's not professional. That's sometimes a better thing. First thing I would say, he needs to publicly celebrate the 4th of July, even that he has a little press conference or a talk to America about it, an interview for 30 minutes in front of the world, in front of America on a major broadcast, talking about the 4th of July and the significance of it and honoring the veterans that have passed away on this day. Because he says he's done the most out of anyone for veterans, so he's got to start proving that. He's got to keep proving that. And that'd be a great start. It's about 4 days away. Just talk to the world. It's not hard. Talk about the 4th of July to America on a public broadcast. Stay up, stand straight, be confident. The Democrats can be there to support you. It doesn't matter. They can clap for half the things you say, or you can be on your own. That'd be kind of a good thing. Be on your own. Just be you and the moderator. Discuss with everyone how the 4th of July is important to you. You're the president. Stay out there. Be confident. This is one of our main holidays. So there we go. This is whenever we became a country, pretty much. So yeah, it's a big day. Also, this is one thing I've learned from a lot of presidents. A lot of presidents, and my eye is itchy right now. Okay. So, a lot of presidents during their times, right? They will go out and they will go and either check on smaller local cities. If anyone's devastated by any problems, they'll go out. I'll be back. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Anyways, there's a lot of presidents that go out and they will discuss or just to go out and check on cities or places that have been devastated by either weather events, by any terrorist attacks, or anything of that nature. And they'll go out and talk to them and talk to the city and say, hey, you will be okay. You will be okay. I'm here. Even presidents that aren't looked fondly about, like Richard Nixon. He went out and checked on a city in Ohio. He checked on a city in Ohio after a huge tornado went through there called Zena. He went out there and looked for himself about it. He had a lot of presidents that do that. And what a perfect time, even though it's going to be a bad situation, coming off the Atlantic coast is one of the most powerful early rated hurricanes that's rated a Category 4 already coming through the Atlantic. Coming through. Wouldn't that be great for Joe Biden to go down there in a time of devastation throughout the lower parts of America, closer to the Gulf in that area, to stand there and declare that we will be okay. I got your back. I got your back. Louisiana. I got your back, Mississippi, Florida, any places that have been affected, the rainfall that comes by, the winds, any devastation that comes from there. Any branches, even closer to the islands and the Cuban areas of all that, Puerto Rico, any area that's affected that's under U.S. territory, go out there and say, I'll go down there, stand there and say, I got your back. You will be okay. We will stand together. That shows a sign of unity. That shows a sign of bravery, toughness, shows that a president will go down there and defend and stand up for his country at the place of devastation. Not in the White House. He will go down there and check for himself. That'd be a great thing to do. Celebrate the 4th of July publicly and give honor to the veterans. Then go down there and check on the people of your country that don't have the same wealth benefits as you do, don't have the same emergency care as you do. And you go down there and stand there with them, say, put an arm around their shoulder and say, you will be okay. That's a good thing. That shows a sign of our president is a leader of some sort. No matter the past, you got to show something. You got to do something for the ads to show for. And after that, I would just go silent, pretty much. Month and a half, do your normal press conferences or whatever you need to do. Don't make yourself look a fool. Don't put yourself in positions to do anything bad. Stay out the cameras. Just stay away. This is what I specifically said. Don't talk much and let the party and media go at Trump until the next debate. Have your party pick apart anything that Trump said, fact check anything Trump said, and just go at that every single time. Some newscasts will go at it anyways. Push that, give you nothing to complain about when it comes to Biden. This next 2 weeks will be huge. Because you can do something like that. You can go celebrate the 4th of July and make it public. Go out there and check on the people that will be affected by the hurricane coming through. That will be huge. That would be huge for a public look for Biden. And then we have the September 10th, against the next debate is on ABC. There's no specific location yet. That's still to be determined. That'll be a huge thing, I would say. If there is a crowd and there's an open mic, no matter when, if you want to buzz in and out, if you want to do the silent mic thing, whenever someone's talking, they mute the mic type of thing, I would avoid that. I would avoid that at all costs if I was Biden. Because the main thing in 2020 that a lot of people did not like is how much Trump would interrupt Biden's words. You got to give Trump an opportunity to let that happen. You got to give the opportunity if Trump would, either Trump's getting frustrated because the crowd's getting into it and they're booing him, or Biden says something he doesn't like and he wants to interrupt, or the moderator keeps saying something and Trump wants to interrupt. You got to let him do that. And you got to use that to your advantage. I would say if Biden gets at the point that Trump keeps interrupting, point out, do you want a leader that whenever you're having to make calls with China, make calls with North Korea, make calls with Russia, Ukraine, any of those foreign countries, do you want a president that's possibly going to try to tick one of them off by keep on interrupting? Keep on interrupting. If they're going to interrupt the public, if they're going to interrupt our citizens of the United States, what is he going to do with other countries? What is he going to do with their leaders? What is he going to do with their citizens when he goes out there? If he can't treat us with respect, what is he going to treat them with? And this idea of, well, that's not a bad point. Attack that. Say that Trump is not qualified to speak, to consistently not let his emotions get in the way of it, not let his ego get in the way of him, not let that get in the way, not try to make himself them, not to give another guy a chance to talk, try to force his opinion on him at all times. Say Trump's trying to force his opinion on everyone is clearly wrong, but usually the loudest talker in the room is usually the most wrong. He's trying to defend himself at all times, to let the person speak. Force that. Bring up controversial topics. If there's any controversial topics, have the moderators ask Trump first. Get the crowd going. If his abortion's brought up, have Trump answer that first. Stuff of that nature. Talks about the border. If Trump has a hot topic that you thought he mentioned during the debate earlier, have him re-mention that. Just pick out these clues that Biden's like, okay, whenever he says this, whenever this topic mentioned, bring this up. When it comes to abortion, make sure, remind everyone, he wants to bring it to the states. He wants to keep it to the states. And if it's a state that does not allow abortions, that'd be a great opportunity to say, well, with me as president, I would allow the state to have abortions. I would allow the state to do certain things. And the people in the crowd, or people that support the idea of abortion, would like to hear that. I'd be like, okay, my body, my choice. Especially in a state like that, Trump starts trying to get defensive. The crowd starts booing him when he says, I want to leave to the states. Crowd might not like that. He talks to them. Moderator tries to calm him back down. Trump tries to interfere again, tries to overtalk the moderator, and you got a debacle right there. And Biden's you try to be an instigator of some sort, but still get your points out. You got to stand there and look somewhat confident. You don't have to look like $1 million out there. You don't have to. You don't look like a 10 out of 10. 6 out of 10 of just standing there and don't look dead, because that was a 2 out of 10 performance. Stand out there, look confident, just stand in front of the camera and not be yourself, because being yourself has not worked. Stand out there, look confident as much as you can. Remember, remind people you went out there and protected them. Whenever these hurricanes went through, you went out there. Whenever the 4th of July, I talked about these veterans. I took care of them. I took care of these citizens. Remind people of that. And try to make people remember what you did good. That's the idea. You have to build a foundation at some point. You got to if you're going to build a house, you got to build a foundation. Do good stuff now, so whenever September 10th comes, remind people of what you did in the early parts of July. That's a big thing right there. And if any other storm comes up like that, you got to go out there. Any devastating event happens, you got to go out there and you got to show the whole world, I'm willing to stand with my country. They're thick or thin. I'm willing to stand with them. And again, I've wrote down here a lot. Let Trump interrupt. If Trump's going to interrupt what you got to say, that is perfectly okay. Let him do that and remind people this guy's interrupting. If you want him to talk to Putin, you want to talk to Kim Jong-un about his people that have nuclear weapons just in the press of the button and the whole world's changed. You want to go off that type of temper talking to those people? I might have a starting problem. I might not always say, I might have a stuttering problem. I might have problems thinking of the next words I'm going to say at times. But at least I don't try to tick people off. I don't try to interrupt people's sentences. I don't try to do things that's going to get in people's heads. Because once I get in one of those people's heads, one of the ruler's heads, I don't know where they're going to go. I don't try to do that. I'm barely in my own head. So how can I do that? Trump can. You want that guy that's going to interrupt everyone's sentences to be your guy? No. No. Mm-mm. Push that. Push that. Heavily push that upon people. Again, crowd, Trump get off his game, let his ego get in the way, and Biden take a step back and instigate. Put your points out, push the narrative to Trump, and if Trump does anything stupid, capitalize and make that your next point. That's what Trump did. Anything Biden said, he picked apart it. Do that same thing to Trump. Because that's tough to pick apart someone that if you're just trying to pick apart themselves. I'm trying to pick apart you. How are you going to pick apart me? If I'm just repeating what you're saying, how are you going to pick apart what I'm going to say? Are you trying, see what I mean? If I'm trying to dissect what you're saying and try to prove how you're wrong, it's tough to try to prove how I'm wrong because I'm just repeating what you're saying. You have to make some stands, dissect what you did last debate, figure out what you did right, and just word it the best you can. Biden will have some slip-ups, but again, let Trump interrupt himself. Let him hurt himself. They will cause himself to hurt. He will hurt himself more than Biden can ever hurt him. So, make himself look strong. Make himself look confident. Go out there and say, I will stand with my people. I will stand with these citizens of the United States. Through thick or thin, no matter what happens, I will stand with you. And let Trump hurt himself. And listen, the following day, people will be standing up and saying, well, at least Biden wasn't interrupting. At least Biden wasn't getting booed by the crowd. What did Trump say? And then you have these little snippets of things that you can put on the NBCs, the CBSs. Fox wouldn't dare do it. But the CNNs, the ABCs of the world, even the CWs of the world, I don't care. Any local news, put snippets of what Trump says, like, oh, that's why they booed him. That ain't good. That is not good to hear. Hear Trump getting booed, trying to defend himself, trying to talk bad about others. Leave a whole other conundrum of stuff. That's what Biden needs to have happen. I think that can happen. I think that's the most realistic chance they have of happening, of anything happening. Again, acknowledge what he's doing. Hold strong on your own. And be as confident as you can. Be as confident as you can. Let your former actions prove dividends to what you're doing now. That's what I got to say. That's my opinion on what they got to do. Is that perfect? No. Again, guess what? That's all my knowledge. If I was in the situation that he's in, that's what I would do. But it's probably not. You'll probably mess up. Probably not doing what I'm saying. I'm trusting you. Also, one thing to mention the educational system. Talk about how you're going to make the education better. You're going to pay teachers more. You're going to do this. You're going to try to improve the school learning for public schools. Improve school funding in lower poverty areas. School, I don't care. Buses, improve them. A lot of them don't have air conditioning. So if you tell a kid, I'm going to give you air conditioning on your bus, a lot of them by the age of 18 would want to vote for you. And a lot of them are turning seniors, are about to be 18 this year. And you say, I'm going to put air conditioning on all buses. You're going to get some of their votes. Because we want that to happen. Was we want that to happen. We'll put air conditionings in your schools. That'd be great. Mandatory checkups for that stuff. Mandatory inspections when it comes to any rodents, any pests, anything of that nature. Try to make these schools look clean. Anything of that nature. Try to make them education learning better. Pay teachers more. That'd be great. That'd be a phenomenal thing to hear that from a president. I'm going to make the educational system better. I'm going to make the schools better. I'm going to make the schools cleaner. I'm going to make the learning environments better for anyone that's going to public school. Not just private, public. That'd be great to hear. So I doubt Trump's going to say that. But if Biden says that, that's going to get... Who's going to be like, oh, I don't want that to have that happen? Not many people would. But it would be nice to hear someone say that. That would be nice. Because not many people say that. And very few actually do what they say when it comes to the educational system. But it would be nice to hear it. So that's my opinion on it. Put on the comments your own opinions. Check my other video on my full recap of the debate. And yeah, hope you have a great day, y'all. Stay safe. Put on the comments your opinions about this. And God bless y'all.